Can you hear me, Rachel? I'm kind of, oh, there you are. Can you see both of us on the live stream? Did you click on your audio?
Uh,
Oh, yeah, I can hear you.
you can hear me? Okay, yeah. We're live.
So here we are. Your lighting looks a little bit better than mine. Here we are in our first live stream broadcast from Oregon Weight and Wellness, direct to you. And just gonna be starting these conversations and hopefully having some informative conversations. Well, first of all, who am I? Dr. Julie Gilbert. Let me introduce Rachel.
I'm Rachel, and I'm the health coach here at Oregon Weight and Wellness.
Yeah, so we thought we'd give this a try and live stream. It's 3 o'clock, 3:19 in the afternoon. If anybody's out there and wants to ask a question or start a conversation, we wanted to introduce our clinic and get our name out there a little bit more. We're at Oregon Weight and Wellness, where we come alongside people who are trying to make changes in their lifestyle to improve their health. And wherever you are, is where we'll meet you and help you just keep moving forward. So.
Yeah, so tell me about this, Dr. Gilbert. If we're here together, so we're live streaming out to the Facebook population, is that right? So
that's right, yeah.
So these are people who are following you already on Oregon Weight and Wellness. Will we see people who are also just on Facebook? Do we know?
Right. Yeah, well, that's what I'm hoping. I'm hoping that we'll capture a larger audience, and then maybe we can help. Maybe we can capture some interest and give good information and answer questions maybe, and not give medical advice, of course.
That's right.
But yeah, just have lively conversation about health and wellness. And
yeah. So if people are, what kind of questions are we looking for out there from people? What kind of questions can we answer? If we're not giving medical advice,
right.
You're a medical doctor, this isn't maybe the place that we can give medical advice, but we can start an exciting conversation about food, nutrition, well-being, sleep.
Yeah, stress management, activity, growing habits, making habits and healthier habits, or how to break a habit that you don't want. How, maybe not just what to eat, but how to eat.
Right.
All those things are involved in a healthy lifestyle. We could talk about, some of the things that we're talking about in our classes that we offer.
Yeah, so we've got some group classes that we offer on a weekly basis. So for patients who are looking for that group community, of course, we're meeting via Google Meet. So it's a similar platform to Zoom, but we're not quite meeting together in real life yet, but we are on Zoom, which in some ways is great because it gives everybody the opportunity to just log in right where they are at. So they can either be at their lunch break at work and they're on their phone, or they're at home on their laptop. And we have a couple different groups that we're going through. We base the conversation around a book that we're all reading together. So it's kind of like a book club, but then there's some coaching going on in between, and it's really an incredible place for support. So for the patients who are in groups, we're reading through a book called The Slow Down Diet by Mark David. We're also reading through the book Tiny Habits by BJ Fogg. And the little light blinked. Did I cut out there for a second?
I don't know. I heard you. It just kind of stuttered. That's all.
Okay. I'm curious if it's going to tell me if it cuts out or not. And then we're looking at some new books for the spring and summer too. We're adding more and more groups as we go, as we learn about what the patient is looking for this added learning, right? So you have the patient interactions with Dr. Gilbert or with the other doctors here at the clinic, and they're getting their medical stuff looked at, and they're getting that type of support. And then we're looking to come along that and say, okay, let's talk about your sleep, and let's look at habits, and how are we building better behaviors? How are we advice? Do you need some help from each other? Like, hey, how do you get yourself motivated to take that walk in the rain?
Right.
And then there's that camaraderie. So the
Right,
group
right.
is an excellent place for support, friendship, and a lot of people are starting to meet and then communicate outside of the groups, which is really great.
Right, because what I bet, here we are in February, February 2nd. I mean, I think like January blew right by, didn't it, Rachel? And so, if you're like me, you take that time at the beginning of the year and saying, hey, what do I want my year to look like? And sometimes, we have these huge goals and these big ideas and resolutions and things like that. And if you're like me, I bet it's February 2nd. How are you doing on those? Right? How are you doing on those? So what we're trying to do is come along, is try to make so you had all this new year excitement, new year greatness. It's going to be better. It's going to be good. Of course, anything's better than last year, right? But maybe that's fizzled out a little bit.
That's right.
February too, right?
Yeah.
Maybe that's fizzled out a little bit. So how can we feel less overwhelmed with what we want to do, where we want to be, and what's that first step in getting there? Those are the kind of things that we can talk about.
You mean like right now?
Yeah, like right now.
You're right.
Rachel, what are some of what tell me about,
I thought maybe you were handling a carrot, like.
Yeah. I want you to tell me about when, 2021, January, when you were thinking about what kind of big goals did you make for yourself, and what does that look like for you?
Yeah, the big goals, I'm at a point with my health and wellness right now where I'm really trying to maintain a lot of the habits I've created. I'm really trying to maintain my weight, maintain the healthy habits I put into place. Of course, not tweaking things and changing things, learning new things, but so maintaining the habits. So first and foremost, what I did with my year is I looked back on last year and said, okay, how were the ways that I supported myself to make sure that happened? And bottom line, my health and well-being is a very high priority. So that means that I schedule dates with myself to go for my runs. I make sure that I schedule time to do my food prep, and that I leave space in my calendar or in my day for that kind of thing. So what I did is I looked at the calendar from last year and I pulled forward all the healthy habits that supported me. I went back and tried to remind myself all of my big wins, all of my habits that I created, pull them forward and said, automatically, it's like a cut and paste, right? You just kind of click and drag.
Right. Yeah.
over to the calendar. So that I know for a fact, these are things I'm not changing. So for you, I would say, for anybody listening, what are the things that served you well, that you want more of in your life? And pull those forward right away, so that ultimately you have a calendar starting off with all the good and positive. And then it's, okay, where are my dreams? What are my big visions? What am I looking at down the road a little bit? Maybe that's a month away, maybe it's a year away, maybe it's 2 years, but you need to have a vision. You need to have a big vision for yourself. And then we can talk about how to break that down into little habits, little biting off little chunks, but you've got to start small, right? If you try to go big right away, we always hear go big or go home, or all or nothing, or if you're not winning, you're losing. And those are frankly just things we don't subscribe to here.
Yeah.
That's not the way it works.
Right. Yeah, thanks. So I like that. So you really capitalized on the good stuff that happened. There was good stuff last year. It wasn't all bad. There was good stuff. And you brought that forward to this year. I kind of do a similar thing. I make goals for myself. One goal for every year that have been alive. So 55 goals.
Wow.
Yeah. So a lot of them I have in place. Some my exercise stuff, but then how can I do 1% better? How can I just improve that by 1%?
I love that. I love that. So that we talk a lot about that 1%. Sometimes in coaching, I'll call it a healthy upgrade. So if I'm already looking at things I'm doing well, or that I'd like to improve on. If I do 1% upgrade every day, or even if we think about the changes that will have taken place over time, we have to think of change as consistency over time. So that 1%. Okay. So let's say I'm currently not walking at all, but I'd like to start a walking routine. Okay, what's 1% I could do? For each person is going to be a little bit different, and based on your past successes, based on your mobility, based on your ability and your motivation. A lot of things
right.
But the 1% might be, I'm going to put my tennis shoes on and I'm going to walk around my house for 1.5 minutes. And if that's all you could even imagine doing, that's better than what you did yesterday. And then we build on that. Maybe it's, I can take one loop around my my street. For some people, there's a barrier and it's just putting your shoes on. Or maybe it's, you got to go out and get the shoes, right? So it really depends on each person. Where are you starting? What do you want to do? But if it's vegetables, I want to add more vegetables. Okay, well, I have 1 serving of vegetables a day. I'd really like to go with 2. All right, well, how could you add it to your breakfast? Maybe if you added an extra serving of vegetables to your day, but you tried to only do it a couple times in the week so that you don't feel so overwhelmed, so burdened by it. Start small, little percentage.
Yeah, I like that. And you mentioned vegetables at breakfast. And so that kind of breaks down some barriers and makes me question, and like, vegetables for breakfast, am I allowed to have vegetables for breakfast? You know what I'm saying? Some of these concepts that we kind of keep they keep us kind of stuck. Like, I don't eat vegetables for breakfast. Well, why don't I eat vegetables? Why couldn't I eat vegetables for breakfast?
That's exactly right. We have these, we're boxed in by, I don't even know who came up with breakfast foods. Who said it was a food for breakfast?
Right. Okay. So you can see this is going to be a real lively conversation and go lots of different places. And I think it's going to be a lot of fun.
This will be real.
Yeah.
And you and I can wax on forever about some of this.
We can wax on. We can talk. You and I, we can talk. But we'd love to invite other people to be part of the conversation, comment, and we'll acknowledge that. Let's come back. We're going to make some goals here about our live streaming. Yeah.
That's right.
When, how long, the topics, that sort of thing. So that's one of my goals for this year is the live streaming thing. And the first step to that was learning how to do it. Yeah,
because 1%. Just
that's the 1%. And so, and I had to humble myself and ask someone to teach me how to do it. So, but whatever, this one is called StreamYard, and it's pretty user friendly.
Yeah, this is great.
Yeah.
And we just jumped on this, right? We just took it by the horns and said, you know what? We have no idea what we're doing, but we're going to do it anyway.
We're going to do it.
You have to start. That is the biggest thing I would want to leave anybody with today is you have to have action. Start.
Right.
Something. Doesn't matter.
Yeah. Time. Yeah. All right. We'll talk again, Rachel.
Okay. Sounds perfect. Thanks.
Bye-bye.